Okay, so number 11. Potential reduction in the extent of Lyttelton residential heritage area. Where's Tyrone?
They'll be out because they were
Okay.
I think because they had a conflict. Yes, great.
Yeah.
What happened?
All right. Okay. We have the presentation.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Far away, please.
Thank you, Mayor Major. Kia ora, councillors. Thank you for having us here. I'm here today with Glenda Dixon, Senior Planner in City Planning. It's in response to the resolution from Council on the 11th of December in relation to Plan Change 13 Heritage to explore the reduction of the proposed residential heritage area in Lyttelton. Just before we get into the detail of that, I just want to give you a slight context on Plan Change 13. Good news, we've had agreement to the extension of time on the statutory period for that. That's to the 17th of September this year, and we are working within that context at pace to complete the plan change. We have now appointed a panel, and the date for the hearing will be mid-June. I'll hand over to Glenda now to take you through the details of that investigation.
Good afternoon, councillors. This presentation is going to be very brief. The first point I'd like to make is that Lyttelton Township is registered by Heritage New Zealand as an historic area and has been since 2009. That includes nearly all of Lyttelton. So that historic area is actually quite a bit larger than Council's proposed residential heritage area. There have been a few previous prunings of the extent of that area, and we'll have a map in a minute. And the latest review, as a result of that December resolution from Council, indicates that we can take out 72 further properties without having a major effect on the heritage values. This is only in respect of peripheral sites that were considered, because the heritage consultant's view was that removing internal sites would compromise the authenticity and integrity of the area. And on top of the 72, there are 2 properties owned by Ngāti Wheke at Upper Verlas Road. You probably know that's the former school site, which we think could also be excluded from the heritage area in order to help facilitate the proposed Papakainga development there. You've probably looked at this already. There are 6 clusters, as we mentioned, and they're shown with it hatched, black hatched. So they're kind of on the outer extent of some of those bits of promontories, as it were. And they're at those streets listed there, not all of those streets, just some of those streets. So beyond that, as Darren mentioned, we don't really have any time for any further reviews of the extent, because we're already writing evidence for the hearing, which will be in June. And at that point, the concept of residential heritage areas and also the methodology for them and the planning provisions built on those will be heard and determined. So that's it for my presentation. So we'll obviously be happy to answer any questions.
Tyler, please.
Kia ora. Just got a couple of quick ones. What was the methodology in selecting those 72 properties? I mean, what were the reasons for selecting those ones in particular?
We asked the heritage consultant to look for areas that might be able to be removed, which she could actually justify in terms of not having a major effect on the heritage values of Lyttelton. So if you look at the list of properties, there's reasons on the back of that. I think it's one of the attachments. where she's kind of explained why some of those properties could be removed.
Okay.
Yeah, did you have two?
Yeah, it was pretty much around those properties that do have heritage provisions on them. In terms of healthy homes, if a resident wanted to renovate / insulate / weatherproof, etc., what are the separate things that they need to do in terms of regulation if they were under that heritage provision in comparison to not being under it?
There's a permitted activity in those heritage areas of doing works, which are basically to give effect to the building code requirements. So those sorts of things are not really controlled. It's more the major things like demolition
Gotcha.
or alterations in additions.
That's
or
good
new
to know.
buildings actually as well.
Which includes adding extra rooms or
Yes,
things
yes.
like that. Okay, great. Thank you.
I assume Tyrone's moving this.
An amendment that I put up,
Yep.
Your Worship. Very slight amendment to the.
And
So
okay,
happy
so
to move it with that included.
explain to everyone what it is, please.
Yeah, look, I think that as staff have said, so some areas have been withdrawn from the RHA. Is proposed to move forward, and so the properties that I put up there in my amendment are just an extension by four sections on the upper side of Cressy Terrace in Lyttelton that are in line with, in my view, with the properties that have been withdrawn. Just noting that one of those properties is considered to be defining, but has had substantial work done on it in line with 90 Cressy Terrace, which has also been withdrawn. So I think that there's a consistency there. So I just think that very, very small amendment would just tidy up that high side of Cressy Terrace there.
Okay, so
Bearing in mind that the overall this substantially extends the area in Lyttelton where homeowners and property owners are and their property rights are impacted on. So and while I understand, obviously, I'm a huge proponent of heritage, and Lyttelton is such a great example that it needs to be protected. I think that we just need to apply some common sense in the way that we're going about it.
Thank you. I'd be interested in the staff's comments on that amendment and how quickly could you get the consultants' views on that, because I'm concerned about the major impact on the heritage values of the area as a whole. Where is the line? Because this looks like creep.
I think it's probably best if I ask Mark to speak to that.
So in light of the suggestion put forward, we sought some urgent advice this morning from the heritage expert, and they did express concerns with both this and an alternative to it, which would impact on the integrity of the residential heritage area. That's from the heritage expert's standpoint. What still has to be tested is the other evidence to inform the planning position. So the hearing's in June. When the hearing's held, there'll be also economic evidence on behalf of council presented, and the hearings panel will need to weigh up the provisions and what effect they have on these properties, having regard to the costs and benefits of doing so from an economic standpoint. So
Okay, so just help me understand that, please. If that doesn't get across the line today, there could be an opportunity for it to get across the line in the hearing in June.
correct.
Thank you.
did you have your hand up, Kel? Were you just scratching your nose? Pauline and then Tyrone.
I'm just not quite clear of the process either. So if this passes today, number 4, then that doesn't go before the hearings panel, is that correct?
That's correct. So today is very much about the scope of what is presented to the hearings panel, and if 4 is passed, then it wouldn't be before the hearings panel. If you decided to keep it in, then it would be subject to further evidence before the hearing
So, and your advice that you've just given to Councillor Henstock is that actually you would not recommend these to come out?
Based on the expert opinion of the heritage expert
Yeah.
acting for council.
It would have a significant effect on the heritage fabric of Lyttelton.
I can't recall the exact wording, but
I think she's of the opinion that particularly 40, which is the defining building, are important for the heritage values in that area, and actually taking any of those out is going to start undermining the context of that area. So she's not happy with it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do Mel and then Tyrone because he's got more to say about it.
Could we have a map up in these 4 properties pointed out on it, please?
What a great idea, Melanie.
Yeah,
Can you move the
yeah,
slides to the map?
but it doesn't show that whether it's green or yellow or blue or orange.
Oh, sorry, it's not on the screen anyway.
No, it doesn't.
It's on now.
Next one.
How can we?
Pointer. Do we have a red pointer? Do we have a pointer?
Oh, hang on. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. So back down. There, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yellow, green, yellow, blue in that space there. Yep. Noting that the blue one there has been withdrawn because of substantial alterations. So these are right on the periphery of Lyttelton, on the western hill there, and not in
Okay.
one decline there. 2 neutral and 1 contributing.
Mel,
Can I ask Tyrone a question?
fire away.
So why have you included the defining one, the blue one?
Because it, in my view, meets the same criteria as the one that the blue one that's been withdrawn there.
Vic?
So can staff help me understand, please, then, regarding the criteria? Is it simply the location and the proximity to other vehicles, residences, or does the nature and the heritage values of the individual properties themselves have some impact? I mean, I'm just trying to understand the reasons that yourselves or the consultant would not include this at the moment and package it up with these other ones. Surely there must be something more to it.
Do you mean not include as in keep in the heritage area, or not include as in exclude?
Sorry, what was the question?
I think Mark has touched on the fact that both our heritage consultant and I, as the planning witness at the hearing, don't agree with taking those 4 properties out. Your question about individual values versus collective, the emphasis of heritage areas is on the collective heritage values, but we also have to look at the individual properties as well, because obviously if you, for example, allowed demolition as a permitted activity, then you'd end up with not a hell of a lot within a space of time. So I think it's looking at the overall picture and the context, and that is quite an area with heritage values, as I have heard.
And so is there anything that you can tell us to add to the conversation today about specific heritage aspects of those properties that Councillor Fields is trying to remove?
I think it's a question of the sort of overall integrity of that part of the heritage area, which our heritage consultant says does have historical, architectural and contextual value. So contextual in terms of not just the immediate streetscape, but the views to and from the port area in the east, etc. I am not an expert on those individual properties.
Okay, so where we are here is Tyrone has moved it as long as that's in it.
Yep.
Okay, is there a seconder for Sarah? Okay, so that becomes the substantive, isn't it?
So to clarify, can I have an option to not vote for number 4, please?
Yes, you certainly
Thank you.
can. Certainly can. So what we'll do is put the whole thing, but if you'd rather number 4 wasn't there, please let us know.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, we'll vote on 4 separately.
Okay, vote on 4 first, shall we?
No, we vote on all of them in 4 separately. It's
Yeah.
one motion, but we're just voting on 4 separately.
Yeah. So put them. Okay, so I've got to move and second that. We'll vote on all of that apart from number 4. All those in favour?
So are we voting on
sorry,
4 or the I'm now
I'm getting a bit
confused.
confused as well myself.
Yeah.
So we're voting on 1 to 3 and then 4 separately
Okay, right. Do you want to debate?
first.
Okay. Who would like to start? Sarah would like to start.
Oh, you're moving.
You go.
Start. Yeah. I just like to ask people to support the whole thing today, and I'm sure that Tyrone will do the same. This is one of those circumstances where I think that we need to just trust in the local councillor and their local knowledge about this area more specifically. There's only a few additional places that he's adding in. Lyttelton's an amazing space with heaps of character all around it. Things do change over time, and I think that's okay. I think that trusting Councillor Fields on this one and his local knowledge is the way to go. It's only one of any sort of significance, and there is still a lot of gorgeous character in Lyttelton. So, and it's kind of well out of the way, not actually particularly highly visible. So, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'll ask you to support my amendment and also the entire substantive as well. Like as Sarah says, I mean, I'd like to think I am very familiar with almost every single property in Lyttelton. I've door knocked pretty much every one of those houses on a number of times, and so understand the character and the heritage of the area. I'm just asking for a very, very small amendment to the substantive. As you can see, quite a few properties have already been proposed to be removed. 70, how many was it? 72. So I'm asking for 76. 2 of which are of the additional 4 are neutral to the character to the heritage values. This is a street in Lyttelton that is extremely steep and hilly. It's very, very difficult access, and I think therefore it should be treated somewhat differently to the core of Lyttelton, which is to the core heritage area. That said, look, I mean, there was nothing there before. What we're proposing here is a far bigger extent of a heritage area that did not exist before. So I think it's only fair that we just kind of look at it based on my local knowledge and just adjusting it very, very slightly to meet the needs of the community. So that's...
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you. Whilst I'm one of the older ones around the table, I'm certainly not a heritage expert. And I can't put the description of Lyttelton any better than Councillor Templeton has. It's an amazingly unique place. However, sometimes, and it seems that we choose when to support a local councillor with their knowledge and not, and that comes down to community board decisions as well. As I said, I'm not a heritage expert, so I think I will certainly be supporting the substantive, but I will not be supporting number 4.
Thank you. I value local knowledge from our councillors and our elected members, and I don't for 1 minute suggest that Councillor Fields doesn't have the benefit of that local knowledge. And I believe him when he says he knows this area. However, on this particular occasion, for me, this is not about local knowledge. It's actually about heritage expertise, and our staff have done the prudent thing by contacting their heritage expert and their consultant to get early advice on this amendment today, and they've informed us about that. So for me, it's the expert knowledge on heritage matters that actually trumps the local knowledge for me, and I'll be supporting the staff going with staff advice, and I won't be supporting number 4. Thank you.
Melanie?
If I'm reading the map right, which I hope so, because we're making a decision on it, it looks like 38 and 40 are both defining, but Tyrone, and sorry to say this, but is trying to put the boundary between, which I can't understand the rationale for that. So I agree with what Victoria said. We should have the experts to look at this. I mean, if Tyrone had maybe said the first 3 properties, but not 40, I think. I probably would agree, but not this time, sorry.
Yep. Up to you, mate. Oh, Mark, sorry.
Thank you. I'm with Councillor Coker on that. If it didn't include 40, I'd be happy to support, but in no disrespect to Councillor Fields, I'm sure you do understand Lyttelton a lot better than I do, but I'm a little bit nervous around that amendment, and I'd be more than happy to have the heritage experts at the hearing consider this to make sure that the right decision is made through the hearing process. So I won't support 4 today.
Okay. I'm just looking. Yeah, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm just using this part of debate to try and figure out what I want to do. And that's why I'm hoping Tyrone uses his right of reply. It's been widely known that I love colonial architecture, but not colonialism. One thing that I do appreciate is the history and the character of an area. And Lyttelton played a big part of my childhood, and I walked around those streets, and there were a few haunted houses that I wish I forgot. But I'd love to hear what Tyrone has to say in regards to Cressy Terrace, particularly number 40, which is something that is a sticking point for a lot of us councillors around the table. Kia ora.
Okay, yeah, all good. Andre?
Thank you.
I thought this one was
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the area. From what I can see, you can't see 40 from the road anyway.
damn straight.
So if you're trying to protect something you can't see anyway, I'm not quite sure where you're going with that. So I commend Councillor Fields for what he's put forward.
All right. Yep. Okay, so we've all had our say. So we are now going to, for a start, we'll just vote on 1, 2, and 3.
Just to address directly some of the comments made by my colleagues. So I just want to be very, very clear that number 40. So it's a Edward sort of a post 1910 square box villa, ultimately, that's been substantially altered over the course of its life, like many properties in Lyttelton have been. And this is no different to number 90 Cressy Terrace, which is a much better example of a colonial era house, much older and on substantial grounds, and actually fundamentally quite beautiful. But that has been excluded, and for those reasons, I believe number 40 should be excluded as well. And I think that the idea that, I mean, obviously the heritage expert opinion is that will impact on the heritage values. We hear that a lot in Lyttelton, that does not enable communities to be able to go ahead with things based on technicalities. This feels to me like another example of that, and I think that we're covering huge swathes of Lyttelton in an LHA. I think this is a very, very small amendment based on really sound reasons, and so I would ask you to support it, please. And as Councillor Moore says, you cannot see that house from the road.
Rightio. So what we'll do is we'll do 1, 2, and 3, and we'll do 4 separate. So all those in favour of 1, 2, and 3, say aye. Aye. Against? Great. So now we'll do number 4. All those in favour of number 4? Aye. Against? Aye. Okay, cool division. Yeah. Some people have got louder voices than others.
So this is for number 4 on screen. Deputy Mayor Cotter? No. Councillor Barber?
Yes.
Councillor Coker,
No.
Councillor Donovan, Councillor Fields,
Yes.
Councillor Goff. Oh, sorry, Goff's not here. Councillor Harrison Hunt,
Yes.
Councillor Henstock. No. The Mayor,
Yep.
Councillor Johansson. Yes. Councillor Kewen. Councillor MacDonald.
Yes.
Councillor McClellan.
Yes.
Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Councillor Peters.
No.
Councillor Scandrett.
No.
And Councillor Templeton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Okay.
4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's passed. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's right. We've got half an hour before we stop for lunch. So I'll do number 12.